Hi, I want to welcome you to the farm. My name is Lowell Davis.
All across the Midwest, you can find all kinds of places that are interesting yet seldomly talked about online. One such place I found out about was a pre-planned town. But not in the sense of like a business creating a place for its workers, or a government planning a pre-planned community, but instead a town created by a local artist, seeking to recreate the magic and childlike wonder of his childhood home. In southwest Missouri sits what could only be described as a ghost town. There are no schools, there's not even a post office. It only has a single church in the area. A quick Google search, you find the town is simply labeled as an unincorporated community. That label says a lot. It's like the map's way of saying, this place doesn't matter, and that's the tension right at the heart of this story. Because to one man, it mattered more than anything. Welcome to Red Oak, Missouri. The year is 1937. A little boy is born to the Davis family. This boy's name is Lowell J. Davis. His parents didn't know it yet, but Lowell had a successful future ahead of him as an artist and a town planner. The town he was born into was a bit bigger than it was today. Today in Red Oak, you'll find a few homes and a graveyard. Back then, you had a few homes, a graveyard, and a general store. The town was by no means successful even then. Believe it or not, finding much information about a ghost town that never really took off in the first place is fairly difficult. What we do know is that Lowell lived in the back of a general store, which was run by his family. The town was mere miles off the iconic Route 66, but Route 66 did not go through the actual town. You can assume that business was not exactly booming for the Davis family. By the time that little Lowell was in his adolescence, the family had picked up and moved to another community. Welcome to the next chapter of our story. Welcome to Rescue, Missouri. Just a few miles down the road, but hey, this town actually was on the ever so popular Route 66. A quick Google search shows, yeah, another small, unincorporated community. Rescue's post office closed even earlier than that of Red Oaks. Clearly, the area was not destined for greatness, but the charming country life did have quite the impact on young Lowell. In Rescue, his parents owned and operated a garage and gas station. Fast forward through his childhood years, Lowell went to Carthage High School. He did not finish. Actually, he dropped out due to struggling with English and art. There's quite a bit of irony here, as we will soon learn. Lowell went on to serve in the U.S. Air Force after dropping out of high school, before becoming a full-time artist. Now, a full-fledged adult, Lowell went back to visit his childhood home of Red Oak. What he saw was abandoned structures and hardly anyone in the community. So, what was he to do about this? Most of us would sigh, take a few pictures, reflect on our past, and leave our dying hometown behind. Lowell couldn't do that. To him, the collapse of Red Oak wasn't just sad, it was personal. This was his childhood home and he wasn't going to let it rot away. How was he going to save it? Well, Red Oak is not exactly a booming area. The closest town with anything going on, and I mean like anything going on at all, is Miller, Missouri. But going a bit farther in the opposite direction, you have a much more substantial city, Carthage. There is where Lowell purchased acres of land to build a replica of his childhood home, a glimpse into Midwestern life on Route 66. This is where the story flips from tragedy to creation. Instead of saving Red Oak, Lowell did something unheard of. He invented a whole new one. It was his answer to death and decline. Build something new. Let's take a look at this community and see what all is there and what Lowell created. From what I can tell, there are a few different kind of structures here. You got the authentic recreations of buildings that you would find on Route 66 about 100 years ago. You have structures from nearby communities, including the original Red Oak, that were moved and restored. And finally, you have buildings that are more or less exhibits showcasing life from that time period. At the front of Red Oak 2, you have a recreation of a 1900s dining car, with the prominent town lettering Red Oak displayed on top. In addition to this, there's a town hall building built to look like it's from the era. I don't think it was an accident that much of the public gathering places are front and center to Red Oak, showcasing the themes of community that would have been found in old towns. Following the path going clockwise, you got a barn and a few homes. The homes in the area do look to be of the age that you would have expected from a town like this. That is one interesting thing about this place. I have seen other people online describe this place as almost a museum, but there are in fact people living here, so it is a town in some senses. It felt weird to be recording people's houses much, or getting super close, so most clips of homes are kept brief. Next, you'll see a general store. This is actually the original general store that Lowell lived in during his childhood. I love seeing historic structures like this moved and given new life. This is the kind of structure that you can just imagine would be in severe decay today if no one would have saved it. And here is where Lowell's vision really comes through. He didn't just build a fake version of the past. He rescued the very building where his story began, the general store where he grew up. It's like he refused to let his childhood home become another forgotten ruin on the side of a highway. Crossing over a small bridge, you will see a restored gas station. This gas station was on the original Route 66, just before you would turn into Red Oak. This is one of the earlier structures that Lowell restored, saving it from its original decay. You'll notice that a lot of these houses have little signs and art pieces. These were created by Lowell himself. Almost every property here has some sort of art piece to go along with it. This is where Red Oak 2 stops being historical and becomes something deeply personal. These aren't just exhibits, they're canvases. Every sign, every welded structure, every odd little art piece was Lowell leaving his fingerprints on the town. Continuing down the road, we come across Salem Country Church. This church is an active church that has weekly services and apparently music on Saturday nights. After passing a few more homes, you'll find a log cabin. This structure is not actually from Red Oak or Rescue, but instead was relocated from the village of Jasper just west of here. This is one of the newer additions to Red Oak 2 at the time of writing. Next, you got a recreated train depot. From my research, there were no railroads going to the original Red Oak at all, but the building fits the theme just fine. They tried to find an actual train station to move to the property, but apparently those are in high demand of other historical preservation projects. This is Lowell's imagination at play. Red Oak never had a train, but his idea of Red Oak did. It's not about strict accuracy, it's about capturing what he felt like small-town America was. Next up, you got the Otis cabin, or originally supposed to be the mother-in-law's house. This is a house that you can actually walk up to and look inside. This is more or less an exhibit like I described earlier. Inside, we have a recreated living quarters from the time period. I am a big fan of the boardwalk up to the house and the small dock on the pond. Walking inside spaces like this is where Red Oak 2 hits the hardest. You stop being just an observer and actually step into Lowell's memory. On the bin back towards the front, you have even more properties, with signs and artwork to enjoy. But the most notable stop is the graveyard.
I think the most asked question is that a real cemetery?
The cemetery here was not built as a real graveyard, at least not at first. Every grave here is fake, except for just one. You see, Lowell lived a full life. He passed away in 2021 at the age of 83. Given that the town was his creation and life's work, it is only suiting that he be the first, and for now, only person to rest here. And that might be the most powerful part of it all. Lowell didn't just rebuild his hometown, he made himself part of it forever. The graves are stories and set dressing, but his? It's a final signature on a project of a lifetime. Despite Lowell passing a few years back, Red Oak 2 does continue to grow and evolve. There are plenty of structures both new and old to see. If you're ever cruising past Joplin and have some free time, I highly recommend stopping by. We came by in the middle of summer and we were pretty much the only people here. Red Oak 2 runs solely off donations and costs nothing to visit. You can drive through the whole thing or you can get out and walk. I highly recommend walking as it's the best way to see all the structures and read all the signs on the property. Places like this are rare. They aren't built by corporations or preserved by governments. They are born from one person's stubbornness not to let their childhood vanish. That's what makes Red Oak 2 different. Well, that's all we got today. If you have been to Red Oak 2 or know of a similar place, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you had to say. Thank you all for watching.